crafters, welcome to Creative Moments by G. I'm G, or Georgia, and today's tutorial is all about creating a one-sheet wonder with a fantastic stencil or mask. You're gonna love this. It's a sunflower mask, but today, guess what? We're using it as a poinsettia. So let's head down to the crafting table. Come on and watch me make this. Let me show you the stencil or the mask that we're going to be using. Look at this. It makes it so easy to use because it has a notch right here. So all you have to do is make sure that you have all the notches up at the top and your flower will be perfect every time. Now I want to show you a sample of what we have created. Now look at this, and I highly recommend you can go ahead and take a screenshot of this so that you can see the 4 quadrants really do take a lot of planning. It looks like it's just so easy, but to make sure that you get your placement exactly right, you need to think about it. So go ahead and take a screenshot of this, and then you can just copy this because this gives us exactly the amount of space we need for the sentiment. Now we have 3 landscape cards that we'll be using, and then this one we're going to turn it as a portrait. So what I recommend is go ahead, take the screenshot, print this out. You can keep this to the side so that you know exactly where your placement needs to be. And that's what I'm going to do. So you'll see me looking over to the side. Now I'm just going to take a cardstock and I'm going to create my quadrants. So I'm going to score it at 5.5. Make sure that you have this cutting blade moved out of the way and go ahead and score it. Now I'm going to score at 4.25. Now it is difficult to see these areas right here. So what I do is I just kind of give it a quick little crease. Here we go. So on your one sheet wonder, after you've scored it, go ahead and just give it a good little crease. Now we're going to move that to the side, and now we're going to bring in our stencils or our mask. And you can also use stamps. You can stamp it exactly the way you want. We're going to start with this first one, which is our sunflower. Now, I'm taking into consideration this map or design so that I know exactly how I need to place it. So the first one we're going to do is we are coming down into the quadrants. I have it over here on the left, the right, and the bottom, paying attention to where we have our little notch area too. So let's go ahead and line this up straight, and let's do our first one. Now I can see that my line is right here, and I'm going to get it just like this. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my inks. We are using Lemon Lolly for the inside as well as Crushed Curry. That's going to be the inside, our beautiful yellow middle. And then we're using Real Red and Cherry Cobbler. Now the Cherry Cobbler is going to give us some definition on our beautiful flower. And then we will bring in Garden Green for our leaves. So let's just go ahead and get all these open. And I'm going to bring in my Real Red. I'm going to hold this down. Now you can tape it if you want, but I'm just going to go ahead and hold it down. And just go over this very lightly with my blender. Now I want to have a little bit of definition. So I'm going to come in with a very small blending brush, and I'm going to just tap that Cherry Cobbler and come in and go just like this. Now we do have a short that shows you this technique, but it's really very, very pretty. Now I know it looks not so pretty on this, but wait till you lift it up. It gives you that definition that you want in your flowers, and you don't really even have to think about it. You just go around, give a little dab, and you will see that it's quite pretty. Okay, now we're gonna lift it up. Look at that. Look how pretty that is. Now, the next flower that we're going to use is we're going to focus on this middle line right here, and we are going to bring this out. Now, probably going to get a little bit on my table, so I'm going to bring in a piece of paper and just slip that under, and making sure that this is about right there based on my template that I already created, right? So I'm going to come in with my Real Red again, just go over my flowers. Now I'm going to bring in my cherry cobbler to add some definition. Okay, and we're going to lift up. Look at that. Now on this bottom piece right here, we want to go ahead and bring in our large flower, and we're focusing on this quadrant now, this bottom quadrant. So we are going to bring this in, and I'm looking at my template because I want to make sure everything gets placed just about right. So there we have it. Now I'm going to once again start my stenciling process. And lift. Look at that. We're looking very good. We still have our leaves to add, but we have one more that we need to get added to this quadrant now. So let's just see how we want to add that. And we are lining it up. We know our middle is about right here, and we need a little bit of flowers going on. So we have it lined up perfectly. Bring in our definition again. And look at that, so pretty. And now what we need to do is do the middle part of our flowers, and that comes in two parts. We need to put this one down first, and you can see exactly how it lines up. And we're going to use the light lemon lolly for this middle part right here, and then we're going to come in with our darker color. Look at that. Oh, that just pops, doesn't it? Now we're going to do the same thing over here. Very easy to line up. And continue with this process. And now we need to add some definition to the middle part. So we are going to bring in crushed curry and do a little more stenciling. And now look at those beautiful colors. So pretty, but we're not done. We need to go ahead and add our garden green leaves. And then we have some speckles that we're going to add. When we're doing our Technique Tuesday, we like to bring you different techniques that you can use to create your cards. And so we hope that we provide you with some inspiration on different techniques that you can use. So let's bring this in. And then you just need to look at it. Do we need some more leaves in some different areas? We might want one right there. But what you need to do at this point is to really look at your different quadrants. Now, the way we do that, go ahead and cut some cardstock. Cut it in half and then quarter it. And that way you can see exactly what your card is going to look like. So we know this is a landscape card. We're going to look at the other side. Here we have another landscape to put right here. We might want a leaf right there. So while we still have this, let's go ahead and just fill that in. And there we have it. Now let's check our other quadrants. We see that's a landscape. We'll put our sentiment here. We're going to have just enough room to put our sentiment here. Before we trim this, we need to bring in our speckles. Remember, I told you we had some speckles. So let's just do a few speckles with some pecan pie. And we can always add some more at the end if we need it. Now let's bring in our trimmer and go ahead and trim up our cardstock. We know this one's going to be 4 1/4. Now we're going to cut at 5 1/2. And let's cut this one at 5 1/2. So let's go ahead and get our card fronts stamped with the sentiment. Now you really need to know exactly where you want it. So this one, we're going to bring in our Knight of Navy. And this is a portrait. So tap, 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 and hold it. Now we have 2 other ones we're going to use, and we just need to decide where we're going to put them. This is a nice big sentiment. This is a smaller sentiment that's more landscape. So you really need to pay attention. That's another tip as you're creating these one-sheet wonders as to the size of your sentiment. And then we could do this one. Oh my goodness. Look at how pretty those look. Now we have already cut our cardstock, and so all we need to do is lay this down. So let's do our top fold first. Now, This is a little big, so I will need to go ahead and cut off a little bit to make it a first mat. And that's really good because this way you can decide where you want to cut it off. I think I'll cut off a little bit right here. So I'm just going to cut off a very small slice, and then I'm going to just cut off this side. And now you're just going to look at it. Do you want the top or the bottom? I think I want the top cut off, and we want it to be 5 1/4. So there we have our first mat for our top fold. Let's put that aside, and now let's think about how we need to cut this off. We want this to be 5 1/4. So once again, I'm going to cut a little bit off one side and then finish it off on the other side so that I don't take too much off either side. And now I think I can take it off the top. Now we have a landscape. Oh, look at how pretty that looks. Let's put that to the side. Let's complete our mats so that we have it exactly what the size that we need. Okay, and let's begin putting our cards together. Look at that. That is just so pretty. One Sheet Wonders allows you to make 4 cards very quickly, but this stamp ink paper technique creates it so quickly that you can have all your Christmas cards made in no time at all. Let's go ahead and just put this on the inside. Now you could go through the process and you could go ahead and stamp some more flowers on the inside if you want, or stamp another message. Let's go ahead and lay these down. Now, another quick little addition. You know those pieces that we cut off? You can actually go back in and lay that down right there just to give the inside a little dimension. So let's go ahead and do that. Just kind of gives it a little bit of color. Look at that, just a little bit of color when you open it up. Now we have some really nice strips for these so that we really don't have any waste. Now, it's a little long, so just come in and snip that off. And look at the color that you've added to the inside. Let's do this one. Let's go ahead and use this one for this. Perfect size. And on this one, let's put it on the side right here. Look at that. Just a little bit of color. And that way you have not had any wasted cardstock that you have colored. So let's look at these. Look at this. Look at how vibrant these colors are. And really the tip is to make sure that you use those quadrants. And like I said, go ahead and make you a template. Print this screenshot, gives you an idea of exactly of the placement that you need to create these cards. So take a moment and leave a comment. What do you think about our one sheet wonder? What do you think about paying attention to the quadrants? We would love to know. Or do you have a better tip on creating your one sheet wonders? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. We hope that you were inspired, and if you were, take a moment to like and share this video. Monty and I want you to go out and have a fantastic day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.